Yeah, let's just get started. I think Lubomila, it would be great if you could quickly tell the crowd what Plan A is all about.
Absolutely, yeah. Really happy to be here. My name is Lubomila, CEO and co-founder of Plan A. We're a decarbonization and policy alignment platform for corporates. We work with large entities like BMW, Audi, European Commission, also big banks like Deutsche Bank and others. And we help them understand what are the biggest levers for improving their emissions and other impacts on the planet.
Cool. And given that we're an investor in both of these companies, what we really like is, on the one hand, having the top-down approach, kind of, as you mentioned, Deutsche Bank, BMW, etc., but then bottom-up. So we have Markus, who's here holding up the flag for the consumers. Maybe just explain to the crowd kind of what your approach is.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jan. Happy to be here as well. My name is Markus. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Klima. We are a climate action app for individuals. So we do similar things, but on a different level, and turns out a whole bunch of different logics apply. Essentially, we help everyone that wants to take climate action to do that in a fast and efficient and easy way by understanding and calculating their personal carbon footprint, understanding what is high impact versus low impact actions that they can take, so really get climate literate also in the process, and offsetting what they can't reduce. So combining the fast and the long-term sustainable solutions to carbon neutrality.
Cool. Well, thanks for the introductions. Maybe then as the first question, Lubomila, what do you see as kind of the key levers across all the data you're collecting? I mean, big data warehouse you're building, what companies do to really support support the fight against climate change?
So there's a lot of different categories of emissions that different businesses in different industries have to take care of. The first step is obviously assessing where's the status quo and what you need to consider as an opportunity for engagement also with your third parties, so your suppliers, your logistics partners, your investments if you're a financial institution. Once this is done, you have a to-do list, and this to-do list, in the way we prioritize it, is based on where the biggest impact is, but also what are the low-hanging fruits, similar to what you were saying. There's a bit of a chicken-egg kind of problem, because what gets to be measured and accounted for as the most critical action to be taken, because it has the most amount of emissions that are being created, is not always what businesses kind of kick off with, because legislation historically has focused on scope 1 and 2, which is vehicles, fleets, fuel consumption, electricity. So that's usually kind of the kickoff point. But as we see the changes in the last year, and I was here last year with Alex, actually, again from HV, at that point the discussion was more, okay, let's measure, let's have an overview of where we're standing. Now the discussion is, let's decarbonize and go deep into the scope 3 categories.
And maybe to quickly follow up on that, what do you then see for you as a business kind of on these opportunities, you know, looking especially at, I would imagine, scope 3 emissions? Where's your lever there?
So 3 months ago, we officially, but unofficially it's been more than 6 months, we launched our supplier engagement module on the platform, where essentially we allow for third parties to submit their data, which allows for this decarbonization process to become a collaborative journey. When you look into a company like BMW, or you look into a company like Vattenfall, another client of ours, there you're looking into heavy dependence on the scope 3 categories. This, if it's simply a reporting exercise, is one that can finish off with a 1-year engagement where you report and then someone tells you you're not doing well and these are the things you need to change, and next year we chat again. With this approach that we have taken, we have the possibility for this continuous measurement and also continuous improvement, as well as a little bit of nudging that also these big entities can do to their suppliers.
Interesting. And Markus, now from a consumer perspective, what are you seeing kind of as kind of the key levers? What should everyone in the audience be doing except flying around and so on?
Yeah, I mean, generally, I think it's important to point out the big potential that individual climate action is. I think that's often overlooked, and I believe it's not even anymore sleeping, but more a waking giant. We probably everyone here has heard at one time or the other the stat that 71%, I believe, of global carbon emissions result from the activity of 100 companies. And that is, well, the companies that extract fossil fuels out of the ground, the Shells and so on of this world. Another fact that's less well known is that 72% of carbon emissions can be addressed on a household consumer decision level. And that just means that are the people that put the gasoline in the car, etc. So there's a huge overlap when we think about from which direction can we address the issue, and we need to address it from both sides. And what we see with consumers, we are 8 billion people on this planet that all have objectively vested interest in solving this, and the awareness is raising. So the question then remains, what can we do? The starting point here is really to, first of all, understand what that power is that we have, because that differentiates a lot between countries as well. 80% of the world has never taken a flight, so I think that excludes everyone in here. So that means we have a possibility, based on where we are in the world, to reduce, for example, our personal flights. Somebody that's never taken a flight doesn't have that. So it all starts with education and being aware of the power that we all have.
Now, one thing I love, and I mean, I think this is also a key reason HV invested, is the passion with which you pursue your respective startups from two very different angles, which are quite complementary. But then, on the other hand, you are also building businesses, you know, with revenue and customer and all the painful stuff which goes with it. I think maybe Lubomila first, looking at the corporates, what are the key opportunities you see there as well to, make Plan A not only a company which does a ton of good for the world, but also, does a ton of revenue, which will make us happy.
The good thing is that we've developed such a business model that allows for the two things to be combined, and actually being able to scale our impact within the businesses that we work with means also being able to scale the success of the business of what that is Plan A. The biggest opportunities that we see is, first of all, tapping into the more awakened entities. We did have a moment in history of Plan A where we were kind of shooting in the dark and seeing, are we speaking to those that want to claim carbon neutrality? Are we speaking to those that want to decarbonize? Are we talking to those that want to involve their Scope 3 emission contributors? And ultimately, now we've gotten to a very clear stage where we want to be at, and that's with the businesses that deeply understand how decarbonization is the only way for them to remain competitively advantaged in the future. We now have a lot of data that backs that, so also this backs our decision to scale the business in this manner.
Interesting. And so talking about people who understand the problem and then who are open to it, what are you seeing on the consumer front? I mean, you are speaking to tens of thousands of consumers regularly with your messaging, with your app. What's the world telling us?
Yeah, I see when we talk to customers or to consumers in general, we see a lot of people are concerned about the state of the climate, about the state of the natural environment, and they express that in emotions like fear, anger, anxiety, depression even. And that is a real problem that people are grappling with. And the best way to deal with these emotions, obviously, is to start doing something about it. But the problem starts to rise for so many individuals when they don't know where to start and are kind of blocked in that way. So I think something that we set out as a business to do is to help people reach that self-efficacy, to understand what they can do. But I think there's also a large opportunity for businesses in general to give guidance and to be clear and position yourself as a choice that people can flock towards in doing the right thing. The most important thing here is, however, to not only paint what you're already doing green, but really doing the real deal, because customers can smell bullshit from far away and becoming ever better of it when it comes to sustainability. But there's a huge opportunity there, I think, for all businesses.
Cool. I see Marco lurking. Maybe one last thing. If people see you outside, who are you interested in talking to?
We're interested in chatting to corporates and also interested in discussing with green tech companies that want to speak and work with corporates.
Cool.
We're interested in talking to all kind of nature-based solutions, whether that's climate-focused or biodiversity-focused.
Very good. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.